Do you know how to create and run a personal budget? This is a concept that, if you look to the other biblical financial tips videos, you'll see that we've discussed Bible basis that would apply to this. But this is going to be predominantly practical in nature. It's a practical application of a biblical idea, but it's practical in nature. And that is, how in the world do you create and manage a personal budget? So I'm going to give you some insights to that. You could probably get some additional in-depth things if you look into Dave Ramsey's materials, Larry Burkett. There's some other people that provide some good materials on money management and budgeting, but I'm going to give you some tips here. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to know how much income you have coming in from whatever sources you have them coming in, and be honest with yourself how much actually is coming in, and then know how much is going out and when it is going out. And from there, you have to do the work, like we talked on other videos, of if the money's not there, you're going to have to either get more income or stop spending money in certain areas. And you can use whatever you want to use to keep record of these things. You can use an Excel spreadsheet, you can use a Word document, you can use paper, you can use some other software, but you can use whatever you want. But it's probably good if you use some kind of a document to keep record of your money. And you're going to want to take every expense, and is it monthly, is it quarterly, is it annually, and you're going to have to decide what frequency you want to manage your budget. You might be paid on a monthly basis, you might be paid on a bi-monthly basis, you might be paid every other week or weekly. Probably the way you're paid might be a way that you want to calculate that. So to do it simply, let's say you're paid once a month. So then you're going to once a month want to sit down and do your budget, and you're going to create categories. So if you're going to do this in a spreadsheet, you're going to create a list. You could do it in whatever software you do it in. You're going to create a list of expense items and how much that expense is every month. And you want to include everything that you spend money on. And if you want to give a broad category to some things, you can. So you can just say, like, if you want a category for miscellaneous for when you go out to eat and when you buy something from Amazon, different things that maybe isn't some clear category, but you want to make sure everything goes in a category. Every expense item goes in a category. And how much money you want to allot from your paycheck, and that has to be equal to or less than what your income is. So you put that in a list. And the biggest challenge is if you don't have anything saved right now, because ultimately what you want to happen is when you receive your paycheck, you put that paycheck divided up into all those categories, and now you have the money to spend in those categories. So for example, groceries, you put a fixed amount of monthly cash into that category, and you're only going to spend that amount of money during that month, and you have it now available to spend. Let's say it's $300, you have the $300 there available to spend. I know that a lot of us spend way more than that, but just giving a number. You have that available to spend on groceries. If you get to zero, then you need to stop spending money out of groceries because you don't have any more money. And you might see in my bank account, I have money in there. Yes, but if you spend money when you don't have money left in groceries, then you're taking that money from somewhere. One of those other categories is being depleted, and at some point you're not going to be able to pay a bill, or you're not going to be able to buy something in another category. So you have to be faithful to commit to not spending beyond that. Now you can be flexible. So if you see that, let's say you have one category for utilities and another category for groceries, and you outspent your grocery cash, but you have underspent in your utilities, then by all means take the money out of the utilities that's a surplus and put it in your groceries, and you have money again. But as long as you're accounting for it. Now, a thing to keep in mind with utilities is if you're not on a budget plan and the gas bill and the water bill and stuff goes up and down, you want to make sure you leave a surplus in there for the months that those bills are higher, so that you're able to take care of those things. So you want to keep that in mind, and what you're doing from month to month or week to week. And again, if it's week to week, you just need to divide it that way. You want to be watching how you're spending, and the way you can do this is when you spend money out of a category, you need to make sure you remove that amount from there. And me personally, I follow the bank ledger, because often we're using a debit card to make purchases. So it comes through the bank account, and then at some point during the month, I check the bank account and I see how much came out, and I know what that came out of, and I subtract it on my spreadsheet out of that, and so I have a running total. Now, like I said with utilities, what can happen at times is you begin to build surpluses in different categories because you're underspending. And you need to either recognize that you're going to spend more at some point in the future, so you want to keep the surplus, or you have other categories that are neglected, so you want to move that money over there. You may need to make an adjustment in the amounts you put in those categories and say, I keep putting this amount in there, but it's more than I need, so I'm going to put less in there and put more in this other area. So you can constantly make those adjustments. But again, budgeting is, I'm monitoring what's happening here. A lot of people treat budget as, I'm just checking the balance on my bank account and I know that I spent money. That's not actually budgeting. That's just knowing what your balance is and that you spent money. That's not budgeting. Budgeting is, I am saying I'm only going to spend this amount of money on this stuff, and I'm only going to spend this amount of money on this stuff, and I'm managing my money that way. That's budgeting. So as you're moving that, you just need to constantly make those adjustments. And if you're noticing I don't have enough, again, either you need to change categories, less in one category, more in another, or you need to eliminate a category, you need to eliminate some expenses, restrict yourself more, or get more income. It's just the budget is going to tell you. And a lot of us tend to want to put our head in the sand and pretend like there's no problem. But if you stay that way, you're never going to get out. So you need to just address that. Yeah, I don't have enough money to buy that, or I don't have enough money to live off of. So I need to change something. And managing this budget is going to help you make sure that when Christmas comes around, you have enough money to buy gifts. When you get a larger gas bill, you have enough money. When you need to buy a car, you have expenses to maintain a car that you have. You're going to have the money set aside. You can even, with those surpluses, set them into a savings category for things that maybe you don't expect to spend money on, you didn't anticipate, or just some special thing that you want to spend that money on. But you're maintaining this list of categories and these running totals of amount of money that you have available in there. Now, depending on the work that you want to put in this, the more you purchase off of debit cards, there's a couple of things that happen, or credit cards, is it's harder for you to be mindful of how much is there, because all you're seeing is the card that you're putting in or swiping. And so it's hard for you to see that you only have so much money left in there. So you're going to have to regularly keep track of that to know how much money you have there and update the information. A way to bypass that is to use cash in an envelope system. So you can withdraw the cash for categories. Maybe you can just do it for the categories you tend to spend money on most often, like groceries or gas for your car. You spend money on that pretty frequently, so you're going to withdraw that from your account, the amounts that you've designated, and place those in those envelopes. And when you go to buy groceries, you're going to take that grocery envelope with you, and you're going to be able to see how much cash I have left. So I don't need to check my bank statement or go online and check my bank account. I don't need to know what's in there by some other means, or keep up on making the adjustments on my budget. I can just look in the envelope and I know this is all I have left. And know that if I go to the grocery store and I want to buy $80 worth of stuff and I only have $10 left in the grocery envelope, I can't do that. And I'll know that because I can literally see the cash there. You can do it with a debit card or credit card. Again, you're just going to have to monitor it more frequently. And if you do these kind of things, like I said, you're going to have the money you need to buy the stuff that you want to purchase. And you're going to eliminate stress out of your life. Some people think they're going to be more stressed by being budget conscious. You're actually going to eliminate stress because you're going to be more financially free and prepared. So I would love to help you. If you need help establishing a budget, or if you have any questions on how to do this or what I said, just leave that in the comments and I'd be glad to help you in whatever way I can. Or you can contact me personally. If you're in the church and you have a way to contact me, email or phone number, feel free to contact me. If you don't have that information, you can always message me on Facebook, and whether you message the church or my personal account, I'd be glad to help in whatever way I can. Or you could always email me at the church email address, which is D as in Danny, D Levesque, that's DLEV as in Victor, ECK, at bethelpgh.org, and I'd be glad to help you in whatever way I can. Please give a like to this video if you enjoyed the content and thought it was useful for you. If you think that somebody else might find it useful, please share this with somebody else. I would greatly appreciate that. Or just give me some feedback on what you thought of the content. Any interaction you can give us will help us know, are we doing anything? Are we helpful? And the more interaction you give us, the more visible these videos become. If you'd like to know when new content is uploaded on Facebook, just follow the page. On YouTube, just subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified every time new content is uploaded. Now, I pray that you are free financially and free from the stress of your finances. God bless you.